Well, hello there, water extractor fans, I guess we should call this video. So I've got two water extractors in my collection. I have my 1999 Hoover SteamVac wide path, and it's holding in there. It's still going. Motor hasn't given up the ghost yet. Probably just needs some new bearings when it does. And on the right, you see my 1993 Rainbow D4C SE with the AquaMate 1. Now, the 1993 Rainbow that I have, because I have a 93 and a 97, and they're both the same model for the canister, I redid the bearings on. So, how about we do some airflow and suction tests for the water extraction nozzles? Now, previously, back in November 18, I did a raw airflow and suction test of the motor. I took this particular tank off right here and did some raw measurements, and I got 64 inches of suction and 143 CFM from this, as Hoover rates it, 9 amp motor. So, how about we go and test? And this was really hard to set up down there. I had to use a lot of tape and some other things in there. How about we go and test what you get at the actual business end at the nozzle, which, by the way, is like 13 and a half inches wide by a tiny small fraction, it's less than a quarter of an inch in opening. So the total square inch opening of this nozzle is 0.84 inches. It's less than 1 square inch opening, pretty narrow. And this AquaMate 1 has a total opening of 1.64 inches. So the total area opening is double with this AquaMate 1 compared to that SteamVac wide path. I thought that was kind of funny. All right, let's get going with the airflow and suction with the wide path. I saw 1156 watt peak total draw, which is definitely using more than 9 amps at, say, 120 or 121 volts. And you obviously see a massive reduction in airflow from the 143 CFM down to about 79 CFM. All right, let's check the Hoover's suction. All right, I saw 40 inches of suction, pretty much dead on. By the way, I don't have any water in this bowl. I guess if you were to go and decide to pick up a lot of water with this water extractor, you could, with these machines, start out with no water in the bowl. That wouldn't be anything that's unusual. All right, let's see what's going on with this AquaMate 1 as far as airflow, and I'm also going to be taking a look at my watt meter. Incidentally, I saw a peak power usage of 897 watts, and the CFM came out pretty good, almost 57, about 56.6. And remember, this AquaMate 1 has, it's hard to believe, twice the opening area of the SteamVac wide path. That's just funny. Okay, now let's take a look at suction. Okay, I'm going to call that 38 inches. So I think that's actually pretty good, all things considered. I was looking over at all the numbers, and something kind of stuck out at me. CFM Density. The suction between these two machines is about the same. Pretty much insignificant. 2 inches of water lift difference. So what? But the CFM Density, there's a massive difference. So the AquaMate 1 scores 34.5 CFM per square inch. The Hoover scores 94.1 CFM per square inch. That's nearly triple of what the AquaMate is. And I think that might give me an idea as far as trying to get your carpets dry. Not as far as picking up huge amounts of water, sealed suction, water lift. You go and actually put, say, a hose into a bucket or into something where the hose is completely sealed or the nozzle's completely sealed with water. That's going to be your sealed water lift. I mean, that's what water lift is. But what happens when your carpets are trying to dry? You've gotten most but not all of the water out. What machine is going to help you get the remaining water out, or as much water out as possible, so that they dry much more quickly? Now, I have had this AquaMate 1 for about 5 years. I know exactly what it does on this carpet. I've had this Hoover for about 20 years, and I can tell you this: the Hoover leaves the carpets much drier than the AquaMate does. There's a massive, it's not an insignificant difference, it's absolutely massive. And as far as trying to get the last remaining bits of water out of a pile carpet, it seems that CFM Density is a great indicator of that particular aspect. So if you want to talk about just, like draining a 55-gallon drum of something, sealed water lift suction, that kind of deal, then suction is really what you're going to want. Like a suction pump, like a water pump. You don't want any air in that line. But what happens when you have a lot of air in the line and you're trying to get those carpets dry? It certainly appears at this point with these two tests, and me knowing exactly how these two machines work, it appears that this Hoover does a lot better with getting your carpets drier because it has an outrageously high CFM density. So thanks for watching. Chew on all this for a little bit. Let me know what you think in the comment section below.